everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Big Bang Theory Rewatch, brought to you by the Affinity Streaming Podcast. We're up to season 2, episode 5. It's called the Euclid, or however you say that street name, Alternative. And that title reference comes from Sheldon not having a driver's license, Leonard working nights, and being in desperate need of a ride to work. So instead of taking the normal route to work, Penny and Howard take this alternative one, and it turns into, some fun with Sheldon basically annoying everyone in the episode and kind of including me. Contrell, what'd you think?
Seconded. That's my first note. Sheldon would have no friends. Yeah. And I've said that in previous episodes, and I stand by it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have friends.
He was extra annoying in this episode, though. Like, I did feel bad for him when Penny was like, get out, and she just left him on the street, because I feel like he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's needy. He knows what he's doing. He's just needy, and I guess maybe his mom coddled him, so he expects all his friends to be there for him.
Well, yeah, he thinks that his superior intellect is, people have to provide for him and everything.
Yeah, an excuse for him not to do the mundane things that the other plebeians do, like drive.
Exactly. Yes. So he doesn't have his driver's license. No, and yeah, that's really what this entire episode focuses around. And he wants to return his Star Wars sheets to Pottery Barn because they're too stimulating.
Yeah. I feel like Pottery Barn would be too upscale to sell Star Wars sheets, but I don't think I've ever been in a Pottery Barn, so who knows?
You never know.
Let's mention...
But you have been in a comic book store.
I have been in a comic book store, yes. Which they... Never mind. October 20th, 2008 is when this episode originally aired, directed by Mark Sandrowski.
Yes, your guy there.
My guy.
So did you have a favorite part of this episode? Something that made you laugh the hardest?
My funniest moment was Penny, when they were at the DMV and she was like, why didn't you do this at 16? And he came up with some excuse and she was like, well, how about 17? And that just, I don't know why I found that funny.
I gotta ask, why didn't you just get a license at 16 like everybody else?
I was otherwise engaged.
Doing what?
Examining perturbative amplitudes in N=4 supersymmetric theories, leading to a re-examination of the ultraviolet properties of multi-loop N=8 supergravity using modern twist door theory.
Well, how about when you were 17?
Yeah.
But I just thought that was hilarious. And I said I wasn't going to mention this anymore. I think you know where I'm going.
Penny's clothing?
Penny's clothing. I promise this is the last time we're going to mention it. But come on, man. Come on.
She doesn't wear that much clothing when she's sleeping. Obviously.
It was cold. It must have been cold in her apartment, but I just thought it was like so I don't know. Anyway, that one was weird. But then whenever they're all in a scene together and every single person has on long sleeves and pants except Penny, that's just what I look right at. I can't help it. Literally their hoodies and jackets and long sleeves, and she's just hanging out there. So, but I'm not going to mention it anymore. That's it.
No, it's noticeable. You're right. It does get better in the later seasons. Not as much of a thing, but clearly they were trying to,
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to point out things. No pun intended. But it makes it worse because of the podcast I heard her on where she was just like, my dad was at every taping. I just couldn't. I'd be like, yo, what the hell? Anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Well,
Penny, she had my funniest moment.
yeah, Penny was really funny. I also enjoyed it was just like a quick line, but when Leonard's like, I'm not driving you, I can't, and he goes over to ask Penny for the first time, um like he's like, Leonard's sleeping, and she's like, thanks.
Penny,
Sheldon, what is it?
Leonard's asleep.
Thanks for the update.
No, wait.
Like, it was just so simple, but it was just like, yeah. And also, like, the DMV scene, that was the best part.
Of course.
That was the star of the show.
Miss Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, were you expecting that?
I was not expecting that. What's your favorite Octavia Spencer movie? I think The Help and Hidden Figures are the two.
I mean, yeah,
top ones for me.
They're both fantastic. She won an Oscar for The Help.
Yeah,
but they're both great. She's
both
great.
great movies. Yeah,
and that her like deadpan face during that scene was great. It's like, does that sign say "I give a damn"? Like, just
yeah,
just, like,
that was the best. That was definitely the best like sequence of a long. Like, I like Sheldon's interaction with people that don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's funny, but like him being like it was just too much Sheldon this episode.
Yeah, it was too much Sheldon. I feel like I don't know. I know it's still early in the show, but like they didn't know how long their show was going to be renewed for and stuff. I feel like I'm shocked watching it back that they didn't start to explore the other characters earlier. Like, it's
it was Sheldon's
overrun with Sheldon. Like,
yeah, it was Sheldon's show.
Yeah, it starts to be a little overkill.
And speaking of Sheldon, he did have a rude moment. First, he said, just because your career has been stagnant to Leonard doesn't mean you should give up.
I'm not going to work.
Just because your career's been stagnant for a few years, that's no reason to give up.
That was pretty funny. That was a funny line.
Yeah.
But like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm moving out. You know,
yeah.
I don't know.
Be like, okay, like you don't have friends.
Yeah, he wouldn't have friends.
And also, I want to point out the scene when Howard's giving him a ride back on his like scooter or whatever. That just cracked me up. Like, imagining like Howard with Sheldon on the back, and I think they probably used stunt doubles during that. I felt like it didn't look exactly like them.
Yeah, I'm sure they used stunt doubles for that.
But that was a pretty funny thing. Shockingly, like, Howard didn't really have any cringe in this episode.
He had this. I believe this is the first episode where he did not have a cringy line.
Like,
he was
nothing.
just Howard.
Shocked. I was like, wow. Yeah. It was just so overrun by Sheldon being rude and annoying in that respect. Yeah. I was just like, okay, we can't take any Howard with that at the moment.
Yeah. So knowing them, they'll double down on Howard's like cringiness on the next episode, or like, and Raj had nothing to do in this episode, so
nothing.
I'm sure he'll get drunk again at some point and be obnoxious.
I always check like trivia about the episode just to see if there's anything worth mentioning. And it was like Raj's name wasn't even mentioned in the episode. Like, they never said his name out loud. That's like how little he was involved in this one. Yeah, something you wouldn't notice, but like me watching it back, the camera angle where like they're coming from behind Sheldon in the hallway.
Like that. It looked weird to me. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it was weird. And like, as I was watching, I was like, I don't even remember seeing that. And like, they don't use that camera angle. Like, I'm curious if it's only this episode that it's in, or if like there's a couple more in the earlier seasons, but like, I didn't even remember that. And I was like,
yeah, I did not like that angle.
It was weird.
I didn't like that angle at all. It was weird. Their faces look weird. Like, that whole angle just was like weird to me. But
yeah,
anyway.
I agree with you completely.
Thank you. Look at our minds are just in tune. We're just like locked in on watching this.
locked in.
Yeah.
Let's mention the other two guests that had a much smaller role than Octavia Spencer, but we had Elena Campbell Martinez as Maria and Livia Trevino as Lourdes, who got us some Spanish at the end of the episode.
Nice. Yeah, I was trying to I didn't know any words, so I couldn't do it.
Come on, you should know bread,
Yeah,
like pan.
that-
You know that.
yeah, I know that.
You know
Yeah.
pan. Come
It's
on.
just too fast for me.
Too fast. What did
Yeah.
you think of that little montage at the end?
It was all right. I didn't
I thought
find
it
it
was, like-
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this episode with Sarah, and she was dying at that part, and I was just like, what? But it's just I didn't think it was that funny, but
It was a little overkill in that moment, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
When he turns back,
it was,
he makes is funny.
yeah, it was entertaining. It was fine. No, I didn't have any problems with it.
Yeah.
All good.
So overall, what do you think about this episode? The last one we weren't the biggest fan of, so is this one better?
What was the last one? Raj being an asshole again, right?
Yeah, it's when Raj wins
Season
his
4.
People's Choice Award or whatever.
Yeah. I think I like this one better, just because of Octavia Spencer.
Oh, she made that episode.
She was great. She made the episode. Her and Penny made this episode. Penny was great in this episode too. So, yeah, those overall I enjoyed. Overall, I did not hate this episode, so I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it was decent. It had funny moments. It was just too much Sheldon.
Yeah,
too much Sheldon at this point.
That's all right. That's fine.
Yep. All right, you got anything else?
Just again, I want to mention. I thought Kaylee Kuko was great in this episode, and I just watched a movie she's in called Role Play. The movie on Amazon, I think. The movie itself is bad, but she's really good in it. She's like a good performer, and I just want to give her some acting props because she was pretty cool in this epistle.
All right,
and I'm looking her in the eyes. I'm keeping when I'm talking to her. So
I'll have to check out that movie. Let's see.
Yeah, it was all right. It was entertaining.
But worth watching.
But it's been done 100 times. It's but it's fine.
All right. All right, folks. That's all we got for you next week. See you next time.